Hi, we're here with Varun Verma from the Backup Exec team to discuss protecting Microsoft Exchange with Backup Exec. So Varun, it's all yours.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. And yes, in the next few minutes, I'm going to talk about Backup Exec 15, support for Microsoft Exchange Server. But before I do that, let me touch upon a little bit about Exchange Server protection and Exchange, why email clients are so very important to protect for backup admins. So email communication is the #1 communication tool on the planet available today, and Microsoft Exchange is one of the most commonly used tools for email communication. So it becomes vital for backup admins to protect the data on top of those Exchange servers. So let's see how Backup Exec does the protection, right? So this is an example diagram I have for you today, a beautiful one I have drawn. And let's look at the components involved in the backup process. So the first component, the primary component involved in the backup process is the Backup Exec server itself. And it's a primary component, and what it does is it's owns the entire gamut of backup and recovery throughout the network. So this guy owns the backup agents which will be deployed on your Exchange servers, participating Exchange servers in the environment. This guy actually is the brain behind everything, and it manages resource credentials. It has the login account which has administrative privileges on all the participating Exchange servers. It controls the backup jobs, so you can make the data backup Exchange data backup selections on this server. You can do a recovery from this server itself. So this guy actually controls most of the stuff happening around the environment for Exchange protection. Now the second server, the second component is the agent for Windows, which this guy deploys on the participating Exchange servers. So if in case you saw here, so here is a DAG environment, and so Backup Exec agent for Windows is deployed on all participating servers, as I mentioned. So these are all agent for Windows deployed here. In case you did notice, I will write down agent for Windows as always. And in case you did notice, CAS does not require an agent for Windows. So that's one change we have brought in with Backup Exec 2014. So it stays like that in Backup Exec 15 as well.
So Varun, quick question on the topic of the agent for Windows. So is this agent for Windows required, does it do the same job if my Exchange servers are virtualized on VMware, for example? Would you mind explaining that?
That's a very good question, Bill. And for virtualized Exchange server, what Backup Exec does is protect the Exchange servers, virtualize Exchange virtual machines through an image level backup. And although agent for Windows there is not required, but it is highly recommended by Backup Exec to install the agent for Windows on those Exchange servers. And that is required because it can properly caress, it can discover the Exchange servers, it can collect the metadata and application stuff required for the granular recovery of your Exchange data. So I hope that answered the question. And when it comes to recovery now, so Backup Exec supports a whole lot of stuff when it comes to recovery, very flexible recovery options. So you can do a disaster recovery of your Exchange servers. What you can do is convert your existing physical Exchange boxes to a virtual box that is even supported. You can restore an entire Exchange database. You can do even a small individual email restore. And you can even go ahead and restore an attachment in a single email. So that is the kind of granularity Backup Exec provides for Exchange protection. And now that I have, that's pretty much about the backup and recovery. Now let's see some of the stuff for best practices. So I'm just going to cover one of the best practices, and which is the Microsoft recommendation, and it's how soon should you be protecting your Exchange server. So you should try to run a full backup of your Exchange servers on a daily basis. But I know personally that a lot of administrators cannot do that. If you can't, try to run incrementals as soon as possible. So that's one of the best recovery I wanted to discuss. So that's pretty much about it, Bill.
Well, that's great, Varun. Powerful Exchange protection solution in Backup Exec 15. So great explanation. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us.